Everyone wants to be somebody. After all, to be important is the most naturally occurring part of us because we all want to have an impact. And it's not like wanting to be important is a bad thing. And without that desire, we would never work for anything. We would just simply focus on only existing and surviving, being satisfied living paycheck to paycheck forever. But the most common problem that we don't even realize we run into is the idea of being great, to be impressive and have all the cool labels, the rewards, the results, because nowadays we obsess over the results. So that's where our attention, of course, falls to. And this can feel and appear so commonly acceptable sometimes. You lose the ability to catch yourself obsessing over being and not recognize how it's delaying and choking our potential. Look no further than on your phone, and you can see online everyone putting on their best front, that they've got everything going for them and they're living their best life. Of course, no one's gonna post about how their life is, but it's almost become a skill in itself to word and highlight what's technically true, our best labels and titles, to tidy up our resumes in the best format to appear as much as an asset we can be. And since almost everyone is doing it, we naturally follow suit. All of our attention falls deeper into focusing on the results and the wins. Being someone with a social media following, being that person that walks in with a fresh fit, being attractive, being liked, the focus becomes appearing to be someone great than actually doing what it takes to be great. And this is how we end up holding ourselves back, because it heavily dampens and suppresses our output. And I think that it's so easy to do because, quite simply, it's easier to do. It's much more fun to appear to be the person that you want to be than actually doing what it takes to be that person. And our desire to be great cares about what others think. So we do all that we can to control what they think. And if we had it our way, we'd have our name in the headlines, checking our accounts while we're blowing up, while they're checking on our online profile. We divert our attention to the wrong things, the wrong reasons that change the rate and way that we work at what we do. For example, I work with elementary kids as an after-school program director, and there's this girl, she pays attention a little bit more than normal to others around her. One time, we do this thing where when someone does something good, we do a whole group chant pretty much and recognize them like, "Sophie, you're the best." Stuff like that, you know, it works really well, actually. And basically, she volunteered to explain the rules in the van, basically so that they know what is expected and not expected of them. So she sits in the front row, does the... So she volunteered, she explained the rules, she's in the front row. "Sophie, you're the best." And she does a complete 180 and checks out to make sure everyone's doing it and is watching them. Honestly, it's pretty funny, petty, and childish. And, you know, of course, it's not the biggest deal, but how many of us in our own lives are pretty much doing the same thing? You know, just, you know, we do something cool. Who's looking? Who's watching me? That desire to see everyone's reaction to how great we are, that's when the wrong ideas from the original desire start to seep in. Especially as soon as you do get wins and maybe even actually are special. In those moments is when we end up limiting the momentum. We stay stagnant on the win than continuing to do what we're supposed to do that got us there in the first place, or even doing more of it, using it as motivation. If you let it, being will make you go blind and not see where you went wrong and can improve upon, maybe even what you should scrap completely. And I'm not scolding you and telling you not to post yourself on social media and show your life, show your wins, but legitimately ask yourself and think twice about it. Are you more in love with the idea of being it, the status that comes with it, being the author and writer than actually writing, being someone that reads than actually reading, looking fit rather than doing what it takes to be fit? Did you ask a question to someone hoping that once they answer, they return the question back to you so you can talk about it? You know, being comes from what you do, and it sounds simple, and you might be thinking, "Thanks, genius. That's really helpful." It can be so easy to let this fact of life dissipate into the background. So basically, if you aren't careful, you could end up limiting yourself by showing and appearing a lot more than earning and accomplishing more. So you might think that the answer is obvious. Pay more attention to the work, to execute, to the process. And you're not wrong by any means, but that's only half of the problem. The real problem that we all run into with this is the recognition that we crave, the social validation. So there is a change that we can make in response. And I would argue that this change is a prerequisite to reaching your goals and then aiming higher and also reaching those goals. Truthfully, this won't guarantee that you'll get to where you want to be, but not doing this guarantees that you won't reach new heights, that you got the same pace and quality as everyone else. So the real answer to cut out this limiting behavior is to focus on doing your best in silence, as quietly as possible. Go mute mode, no bragging about it, no talking about it. Even watch what and when you get excited about it. Get yourself to the point in understanding that you can be confident without validation from others. And by in silence, I don't just mean out loud and showing and appearing in the world, but also in our own heads, especially in our own head. We tell ourselves a story of the results and how great we'll be and are as we float up into the sky of Fantasyland, daydreaming about the perks and what the people dearest to us will be applauding us for. Eliminate this backdoor and you were, I would argue, 3 times more likely to get the results. Just ask some of the best athletes and performers in the world. They're incredibly quiet and humble about what they do and how great they are because they have to. Because for most of them, especially with how many opportunities and distractions that they are around and have the chance to do, they know that and probably have learned that nothing good comes from focusing on the validation. They focus solely on continuing to do the thing that got them there. Be quiet about your own results and let people find out on their own about them. When you do it in silence, you'll see how much you actually care about it, whatever it is. It's in your mind right now. You'll notice you might even lose motivation for doing that thing or things. Good, because honestly, that motivation was probably more focused on social validation than you realized. I'm not saying that social validation is terrible for you and that you should avoid it like the plague and become antisocial. You'll do what you need to a lot more if you get less of it and get used to it. The rarer it is, the better it's gonna feel. And most importantly, stop giving it to yourself or setting it up for yourself. Also, when you do get the recognition, feel it for a second, enjoy it, and then use it as motivation towards doing the next step. We have to watch ourselves because falling off the right path is especially so easy in those moments. So to sum this all up, if you aren't careful, our ego can lead to us pretending and showing a lot more than actually earning and accomplishing more. So you must change your focus completely to doing the work in silence. Because when you shut down the part of you that pays too much attention to the results, when you dial in on focusing on doing who you want to be, the work and actions that you do will speak for itself. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful, maybe pulled a couple strings to make you feel something. Most of these main concepts come from Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday, so I would highly recommend that if you found this video really interesting. Although you can't go wrong with any of Ryan Holiday's stuff, honestly. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking this video and also subscribing if you'd like to see more content like this. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one.